Twisted Oaks Ranch, the jewel of Texas's post-oak savanna, is less than 2 hours from Houston and home to some of the best whitetail hunting in the Southwest. Twisted Oaks Ranch can accommodate everything from family outings to corporate retreats with all the modern conveniences from satellite TV to wireless internet. Whether you're after huge trophy whitetails, largemouth bass from our stocked reservoirs, or just a relaxing getaway, make your next adventure one to remember, and we'll see you at Twisted Oaks Ranch.
We've been hunting this week on Twisted Oaks Ranch. It's a great place, kind of southern coastal bend type country. A lot of big, beautiful oak trees, a lot of great brush, and the ranch is really manicured and managed to produce big deer. And we were very fortunate to get to come down here in the early stages of this. They've been managing this property for about 6 years. And are just getting set up to start up a commercial hunting operation. I was hunting out of a ghost blind, new product that I've got that I'm trying out this year, and it's really a neat product, and we had some success with it. We didn't get to shoot anything out of it, but we had a lot of deer that were really close to it and never had any inkling that we were in the area. We saw a tremendous 10-point with a big kicker on his G2. Just an awesome deer, and the caliber deer that you can expect to find here on the Twisted Oaks Ranch. Saw a lot of young bucks, pre-ruts in high gear. The bucks are trolling. So we saw a lot of activity, a lot of sparring, a lot of fighting. Got to hear quite a few vocalizations. The bucks were grunting at the does and stuff. Just a lot of posturing and establishing their pecking order, and we're not far away from the full-blown rut kicking in around here. Most intense moment that I had the first day of the hunt was in the ghost blind. I had some deer feeding around me in a little oat patch where we were set up, and one of the does came up within about 4 or 5 yards of the blind, and thanks to my scent lock suit and some good cover scent that I was using, she didn't smell me. And then shortly after that, this big, I'm guessing 165-inch 10-point came. He was within 8 yards of the blind, and there were so much deer activity around me. It was pretty exhilarating.
Twisted Oaks Ranch, the jewel of Texas's post-oak savanna, is less than 2 hours from Houston and home to some of the best whitetail hunting in the Southwest. Twisted Oaks Ranch can accommodate everything from family outings to corporate retreats with all the modern conveniences from satellite TV to wireless internet. Whether you're after huge trophy whitetails, largemouth bass from our stocked reservoirs, or just a relaxing getaway, make your next adventure one to remember, and we'll see you at Twisted Oaks Ranch.
Talk about a hunt where everything that could go wrong did. This was a prime example of it. And this particular morning, we had gone back to an area where we hunted the day before, and I'd done a setup. I was hunting out of a ghost blind, and I'd stretched some netting because the brush was behind me. It was real thin, and the deer were coming in from all directions. It rained last night and got the netting wet. The next morning in the dark, I couldn't get the netting to stand up. And there was a ladder stand right there in that same oak patch. I decided I'd climb up in the ladder stand, and this is just after daylight. And I get up in the ladder stand, and my bow's still hanging on the rope, and I turned and looked behind me, and this buck that we were hunting was coming into the opening at that point. And so the wind was blowing and he was a little bit antsy because it had been calm the day before, and he started into the opening and was looking down the brush line at some other deer that were moving through a field below us. And so I managed to get my bow pulled up into the stand with me, and I've still got all my fanny pack and all my gear scattered around there. Nothing's where it needed to be. Hadn't trimmed the limbs up so I could shoot out of this stand yet, and I managed to get my bow up, get my arm guard off the bow and put it on, get my release off and put it on, and a doe came out behind me further down the tree line from where the buck was, and I managed to get an arrow out of my quiver and get it knocked, and I came to full draw, put my pin on the crease behind his shoulder, and I was concentrating on that dark line behind his shoulder, but I didn't pick an exact spot that I wanted to hit. And when I released the arrow, I just drifted a little bit left with it and caught this buck right in the middle of the shoulder blade, and didn't get a lot of penetration. Figured about 6 inches or so got into him, so it cut the lung on the left side, so we gave the deer plenty of time, about an hour and a half actually, before we took up the blood trail. Had a strong cold front blow in, so it got cold. We didn't find him yesterday, and we didn't give up looking for him. We went back out today, and we've been looking just about all day. And this deer had traveled a long ways, and it's just, I made a poor shot on him, and that's all there is to it. But we did finally catch up with him today. Found him in the brush, probably 3/4 of a mile from where I'd shot him. And it was a torturous day for all of us around here, because we hate it when things happen that aren't the way they're supposed to happen, but just stick with it. Never give up on a trail until you know the outcome of it, and then learn from your mistakes. I can promise you, next time I pull down on a deer, I will have 2 hairs picked out that I'm gonna have the pin centered on, and hopefully this won't happen again. The cliche is that if you shoot enough, this is gonna happen to you. And trust me when I tell you, it's not the way you want the deal to go down. So pay real close attention to detail, and pick your spots and center up on them before you let the arrow fly. If you ever get the urge to come down to South Texas, coastal plains area, and do a deer hunt, this is a great place to come.